Hello and welcome to today's practice. My name is Lisa. Today's practice is going to be a full body, general stretching and strengthening yoga practice. I am offering this to those of you out there who are heavy lifters, so big box lifters, moms with children too, anyone out there who just needs to work a little bit on not only strengthening the areas of the body that need to help us as we are lifting, but as well as stretching the parts of the body that can become tense, tight, and maybe painful and imbalanced from doing these heavy lifts. So all we're going to use today is just a chair, and it's best if the chair does not swivel or have wheels and that it has a back. So if you have a stool, see if you can swap that out for just a sturdy, not moving chair. Let's go ahead and begin. I'm going to stand behind my chair. So I just rotated my chair so that if I were to sit in it, I would be facing away from myself right now. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to place the heels of my hands onto the very top of the chair and start to walk my feet back until I've created a 90-degree angle with my body. Now you want to make sure that your feet are positioned below your hips and hip width apart, not too much wider. If your hamstrings are having a hard time with this stretch, bend into the knees. But the most important part, and you can have a friend or a mirror to help you see this, is that your back is not rounding here. If it is, that just means you need to bend your knees and draw more awareness to lengthening through the spine. If you can straighten the legs, that's fine too, but I'm going to keep mine just a little bit bent as I warm up. As you inhale, go ahead and allow the face and the chest and the belly to come toward the ground. And as you exhale, press into the hands and lift the upper back skyward. Maybe even straighten those legs here. Inhale to come down, draw the belly toward the floor. And exhale as you round through the back. Now be sure that you're not standing up here. We're not standing up. We're still staying in this long stretch back position. We're only moving our spine up and down. So keep doing that, and this is a great opportunity too for you to start to notice your breath. Breathing is so important when we're working out, or especially when we're stretching. I mean, breathing is important all the time, but in order to let those muscles really start to relax, we need to breathe. So inhale as you let the heart drop toward the floor. Exhale as you round through the spine. And we'll do that one more time. Inhale as the heart melts toward the floor. Exhale as the spine rounds upward. And then use the back of the chair to safely come back up to a standing position. Great work. Already I can feel it. All of those tight muscles in my legs and my upper back are feeling great. Let's take care of now the side of the body. Step your feet maybe hip width apart or maybe a little bit wider. And let's sweep the arms up and into the sky. Good. With your right hand, hold on to your left wrist or forearm and then draw that left arm up. Immediately, I'm already feeling a nice stretch in what's called my latissimus muscle. So lift that up and then side bend safely, maybe just a little bit at first over to the right. And you'll see I'm not going too far here. That's because I want to keep my low back just safe and protected. Besides, this stretch is mostly for this upper portion of our torso. Let's take one more breath here. And then come back to center. Release those arms, and let's do it to the other side. Arms lift up nice and long, left wrists hold on to the right wrist or forearm, lift skyward, and then side bend here. Good. And those poor back muscles and side muscles can get so overworked, really no matter what you do. Even if you're just sitting at a desk all day, those arms just hang in there, plug in there, and those muscles can get really tight. Great work. So let's go ahead and flip our chair around. So we're going to face into our chair this time. Slide your right foot forward and underneath your chair. So if I were to look directly down, I can't see my toes anymore. Place the palms onto the chair, and this gives the opportunity of a nice long spine here. So I want you to keep your heart lifted toward the back of the chair. And you don't necessarily need to look forward. Be nice to the back of the neck, but do look to the back of the chair with the palms down. Straighten through both of your legs and keep your legs powerful here. Now, the focus of this stretch, you're going to feel it by bringing your awareness to your right hip. My right foot is forward, so maybe you put your right foot forward. Bring your focus to your right hip and then feel it turn upward just a little bit more. And that's really all you have to do to feel a stretch in the right hamstring. So often we're searching for the stretch in our hamstring by bowing forward, and then we can never find it, and we wonder why our low backs are so sore, and this is why. We don't necessarily need to bow forward. Instead, just pick that right hip up and make sure that you're breathing. Let's take 2 more breaths here. So time spent in stretches really helps to lengthen and release that tension in the low back. 1 final breath here. Good. And let's go ahead and step forward to switch feet. Step your left foot back. Keep long in the spine as you straighten your legs any amount. So if you're still a little bit bent in the knees, this method for stretching the hamstrings is still very, very effective. So tip your left hip upward. Really extend there. And even if your knees are bent, you can still stay powerfully engaged in those legs. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And then help yourself up to a standing position. Good. So hamstring tightness can really contribute to low back pain, so that's one of the things that we're addressing today, as well as the outer hips. Let's turn our chair again. We're just going to use our chair for a little bit of support. I'm going to face toward the same direction my chair is facing. Now, one of the things we all know is we need to lift things with our legs, but how often do we do that? Moms, if you're in a working environment where you're lifting things up occasionally or constantly, every once in a while I'm sure that we kind of forget. Furthermore, you need to be able to activate the muscles. So unless you start your day with muscle activation, it's likely that the muscles that are needed to keep lifting safe are not active, which means you're using those go-to muscles like your low back. So we're going to address that now. Facing in the same direction, just fingertips to the chair, and this is for balance. Step your right foot back behind you like a kickstand, okay? And you can use your right hand. You can feel already that your glutes are probably pretty soft and deactivated, but we need those muscles to be strong. So push the foot down into the floor and flex your glute muscles. We don't want to lean too far forward, but just a little bit forward so that we can lift that right leg. And you'll see even my foot is activated. And I'm really squeezing those glute muscles. And we're going to lift and lower here just 8 times. So lower and touch the right toes to the floor, and then lift. And make sure that you're using all of these muscles here. And these are the muscles that we need to strengthen to lift safely. Good. Here we go for 5, 4, and 3. Last 2, and 1. Great job. Now you may have experienced a little bit of burning in the other leg, and that's the supportive leg, and that's okay too. You kind of get big bang for your buck here. So we have to do the other side. Standing up tall, this is just for balance, so we don't want to rest on it or anything. Use this for balance. Lean forward just a little bit to permit a lift in that back leg. Really activate and squeeze that glute muscle. Lower and lift. Lower and lift. Squeeze. Good. And we're pausing at the top just long enough to get a nice contraction in those muscles. And we'll do this 5 more times. And 4. And 3. 2, And last one. Great. Awesome. So let's turn our chair forward. You can already feel it. That's a powerful feeling. We need those muscles. And the glute muscles are part of our core as well. So let's go ahead and take a seat. While those hip muscles need to be strengthened, they also need to be loosened up a little bit. So we're going to start in our chair, and this is a really, really creative and fantastic way to stretch your body, okay? So I'm going to turn to my left. Let's go ahead and do that. And you'll notice that my left leg is slid, or both my legs actually, I'm slid all the way onto the chair. So not forward, but in fact slid all the way back on the chair. Okay? With my left foot firm on the floor, I'm going to sweep my right leg back behind me. You'll see I'm in a supported lunge position. So the chair is holding me up in this lunge position. Now if you don't have the flexibility in your extended leg right now, simply stepping it out to the side, like so, is fine, until you can start working that right leg back. All right, so here we are in a tall position. So I want you to really try and effort your way into a long spine. So if you're leaning forward, use the chair to support you and lengthen. All right. Hold on to the back of the chair, sit up nice and tall here, and then just twist towards your left. Oh, this is a good one. Twist towards your left, and you don't want to crank too hard, but a little bit of assistance is helpful. Now, even as you're doing this stretch, be sure that the shoulders are down and back. Let's take 2 more breaths here, nice and tall. Great work. Go ahead and release. So let's go ahead and face each other. We're going to move along to the other side, simply by doing the same thing. Turning to your right here. Keep your right foot planted on the floor. Sweep your left leg back, and just remember, everybody is different and this is progress, okay? So hold on to the back of the chair, sitting up nice and tall, and then rotating towards your right. And as you're doing this, try and keep your feet firm on the floor so there's just a little bit of activation. And this is getting all the body parts. Let's take 1 more breath. And go ahead and release. Great job. Next stretch. Let's go ahead and sit to the edge of our chair. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh or knee, not too far forward on the kneecap and not too far back either. So right just a few inches behind the right knee. And from here, first use your hands if you need to help both hips firmly sit into your chair. Sometimes when we sit like this, one hip will ride up higher than the other. So make sure both hips are pressing downward. Sitting up nice and tall here. As you're sitting up tall, use your left hand and just gently guide that left knee down just a little bit, all while making sure you're not leaning into your left hip. Sitting up nice and tall, flex the left foot so the left toes are flexed, and this helps to keep the knee nice and engaged and protected. If you're starting to feel this already in the outer hip, you can just stay here. But if you'd like to move a little bit deeper and savor a more intense stretch, keeping the heart lifted, start to hinge forward at the hips. So we're not just leaning forward with nose to the calf, we're reaching the heart forward. And already I can start to feel that this is about as intense as I want to go so far. Good. Take about 3 or 4 full breaths here. And as you breathe, keep that awareness so that the heart continues to raise. Sometimes when we start to get tired, we can start to round in the back just a little bit, taking the stretch out of the hip. Perfect. Go ahead and sit up nice and tall. And let's switch to the other side. So again, right ankle over the left knee. Sit up nice and tall, and I like to give each side its due diligence in making sure that I am sitting as symmetrical as possible. Sitting up nice and tall, my right forearm is going to help my right knee to open a little bit more, and then I might hinge forward again. Good. Really enjoy those breaths. And as you breathe, also just start to bring awareness to the parts of your body that might be resisting these stretches. See if you can ease up just a little bit there. One final breath here. Be sure that these toes are flexed. And come back up. Great. So we've done a lot of work throughout the whole body. Our final stretch is going to be for that upper back and shoulders. Those can get really, really tight. And they definitely are for me. My problem child is definitely my upper back. So we're going to start by taking the right arm across the chest. Use your left wrist or forearm to help that right arm right into the chest. And before we go 100% into the stretch, I want you to bring your focus to this right shoulder. Okay? Draw that shoulder down just a little bit more. And that's when we take it safely, not only in the shoulder joint, but up into the traps and the neck as well. Beautiful. If you're just loving this stretch and you'd like a little bit more, I'm going to take you a little bit deeper in what we call yoga bind. In yoga, it's called eagle pose. Okay? You can let me know if it looks like an eagle to you. That right arm still comes across the chest, but the left arm comes across the chest as well to create this very tight wrapping around. And then from there, we bind our arms. I'm going to go a little bit slower if you're brand new to this, okay? So let's do that again. Right arm comes across the chest. Left arm comes across as well, below the right arm, and my elbows intersect. Now that we're all crisscrossed, remember where your left hand is. That's right here. Point those left fingers to the sky with your thumb pointing your nose. Reach your right arm forward and wrap now the left fingers into the right palm. Both of your thumbs are pointing toward your nose. Good. And again, those shoulders. Now we've got two of them to pay attention to. Come down and back. And this is such a delicious stretch. And you can stay here just a little bit, creating a little bit of movement by reaching the fingers up and down is so great. And also reach those elbows away from your face. Good. Oh, I could stay here all day, but we need to wrap up this video, and you can come back to this as frequently as you'd like. Let's go ahead and switch to the other side. Left arm across the body, and this is that original variation. Okay, and when we're stretching here, the left shoulder down the back. So good already. If you're interested in taking that deeper stretch on this side as well, let's go ahead and walk through that. Left arm across the body, right arm underneath, our elbows intersect. Right fingers up with the right thumb to the nose, left fingers up with the left thumb to the nose, and then we've got my right fingers right in the palm of my hand. Now you let me know, does this look like an eagle? I don't know. I won't question it because it feels so darn good. So lift those fingers up and you can bring them back down. And this is just, again, a really great way to move fluidly and massage those muscles open. And I can already feel it making so much space between my shoulder blades and in my neck. Great job. Go ahead and release. So from head to toe, we've addressed a little bit of movement. I suggest that you practice these at least a couple times a week. I know that for me and for everyone else that's ever practiced, just consistency and diligence in their practice creates a world of difference, not only in how you feel and move around, but also your productivity at work. So a happy body helps to bring about a happy life. I hope you enjoyed this practice with me. Namaste.